This is Wake and Hustle. Join us every week as we take you on a journey to listen to real stories
by real entrepreneurs with a powerful blend of motivation to keep you thriving.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Wake and Hustle. I am your host, Alicia, along with Lovey.
Hi, guys.
Hey, and we are here. Who are we here introducing today, Lovey?
We have Andrea Wilson, co-founder and owner of BrickHouse Realty. So what I love about Andrea, she's a pillar and a powerhouse of real estate. I've been seeing her in the movement since I got into the industry. So I'm really excited that you're here. Honored to have you.
Yes,
and can't wait to hear all of the wonderful things that she's here to tell us.
Yes. So tell us, Andrea, as a serial entrepreneur, how do you start your day?
Ooh, which day of the week?
They all run together, right?
Yes. I definitely think that the way you start your day off is very important. So I am an early riser.
Okay.
On Mondays, for sure. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I wake up at 4 a.m. to make it at the gym at 4:45.
Okay. Sheesh.
That's a goal.
My Tuesdays and Thursdays, I still wake up at 5 a.m., but those are my off days from the gym.
Okay.
And Saturdays and Sundays, I wake up at 7 to be at the gym at 8.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, cool. So do you work out on the weekend too, Saturday and Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
So 5 days a week. Love it. How long have you been working out? Or making it like a part of your
I
daily process?
have for years.
Okay.
For years. Now, I haven't always, it's been a mix. I haven't always worked out that early in the morning, but what I find is when I work out in the morning, it gives me the most consistency. When I try to work out in the perfect world, I would work out in the evening time.
Yeah.
But between kids, sports, and work, I find myself like that the workout, the exercise part being the last thing on the list.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel that starting my day with obviously prayer and then exercise really gets me going. And I have a better day when I work out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Health as well.
Hell yeah. And at 4 in the morning and having a consistent schedule and something that you can bank on and bet on is just like a game changer. I know us at Wake and Hustle, we talk about it a lot, like writing your stuff down. And so just adding that workout and what you know gives you that good feeling is amazing. And the endorphins and all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So tell us, Andrea, who is BrickHouse Realty?
Who is BrickHouse Realty? Well, if you look on my social media, you'd be like, Andrea. This is our 10th year in business.
Wow.
This is our 10th year. So we, right around November, we're definitely going to celebrate that.
Okay.
And so in the beginning, what I would say is, over the last 10 years, the model has changed.
Okay.
The model has changed from a standpoint of, when we started the business, so my husband and I run the brokerage.
Okay.
I primarily oversee the day-to-day. We also have a construction company, so he oversees the construction side of it.
Okay.
But he is definitely, involved. When we started, it kind of happened overnight when we started the business.
Okay.
We were in a place where, because we worked with so many real estate investors at the time, between the construction and the property management side, it was hard for us to work in the brokerage that I was at the time.
Okay.
So we decided to kind of go out on our own. Okay. So it really happened overnight of just not knowing or having a true identity. When you start a business, you're supposed to have a business plan and kind of build from there. And so, while we knew that we're going to be helping people buy and sell real estate and do property management, we really didn't, at the time, really consider what that meant.
Okay.
And so when we started getting so much property management business right out the gate. It just took off so fast that we really didn't have a time to really think, like, because some brokerages, especially boutique brokerages, operate as you just have the agent and they're all of their team, and then the brokerage, like what we are today, a brokerage, and then you have independent agents within that brokerage.
Okay.
And so we didn't have that time to really establish that. So we just became this property management business, and we work primarily with real estate investors to help build their portfolio.
Okay.
But what happened was I quickly learned that it turned me into this administrative person, and I have a corporate background, you know,
Okay.
as a former accountant, and I got into something that I was trying to get away from. And so I really had turned into this admin person with dealing with the property management, and I found myself in a space where I wasn't sleeping at night good, just dealing with tenants, owners, this constant, just paperwork always needed to be done, having to go to court and stuff. And no matter how many times I try to hire someone to kind of fill this role, it always drug me right back into it. So it took a point for me to kind of like sit down, like, what are we doing here? And be willing to walk away from business, because sometimes you get so stuck in business because the money is coming. You're like, if I cut this off, that's my livelihood, that's my paycheck. And so, but I had to do that.
Okay.
And I cut off and cut ties with and transferred a lot of those management accounts out to other property managers, and really worked on the identity of the brokerage. So who we are today is a independent real estate brokerage. We work with buyers, sellers, investors, doing residential and commercial real estate here in the Cleveland market.
Love that. I love that. You stated when you were talking, you mentioned how you were coming from the corporate world and you were trying to get away from that, and you found yourself back in that. And I think it's very important to kind of like speak on how, as an entrepreneur, you really don't get away from the corporate world.
No.
Because you are responsible for your SOPs. You're responsible for all of that kind of stuff. So just kind of factoring that in, like, oh, you know, that's not going to be something I want to deal with. There's really no way of getting around that.
No, because let me be clear. I still am the accountant, the marketing person. I do all of that, but it's just more so in a different capacity. So when you're dealing with property management side of the business, it is a lot of more administrative work of just the ledgers that you're dealing with keeping track of your tenants, or having to go to court, or having to deal with owners. So kind of switching from that away from the management side of it to working with agents. Now the agents are more so responsible because they're independent contractors. And so I love the teaching part of it. I like that role. I like helping people establish and grow their business from that side. So it allowed me to kind of move more into that capacity as a mentor, as their coach, versus having to always just be the technician in the business.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
I can see where the role is still in place as the administrator, but for what you like, for what your goals for BrickHouse are.
And then it allows you the opportunity to continue to grow your business.
Absolutely.
You know, it's hard being the one-stop shop for your business and not really having a team, but by growing and kind of getting people to kind of fill those shoes in the positions where you could take your time and continue to grow while you have somebody else doing the other stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think sometimes people try to hand off duties and tasks too fast. From a monetary standpoint of trying to, preserve, their costs. I know people a lot of times are like, hire admin, hire assistant, but I definitely feel that there's value in really understanding your business and how it operates.
Absolutely.
Even from a standpoint of working with agents, a lot of people teach their agents like, oh, you need a TC, you need to do all of that. You definitely want to lead with revenue. And how can you transition your business off to someone else for them to put their own policies and procedures into the place? Is that the same level of customer service that you want to offer? You really have to spend the time to build this out how it should be, and then transition it off to someone else.
Yes.
I agree.
Point.
So you started off as a real estate agent, obviously. And you blossomed into BrickHouse Realty and your own brokerage. Can you tell us like that journey and how that began and kind of what led you to that point? Because not everybody, you know, has a brokerage or wants to have a brokerage. Some agents are just agents.
Yeah, so when I got my license, I would say that I didn't necessarily have the goal of opening a brokerage.
Okay.
I am someone, I can be a leader, but I can also be led by someone else.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is I don't always have to be the front person. And so I was working as an independent agent within a brokerage.
Yeah.
What kind of led down the path, I kind of touched on it a little bit, was because we were doing the construction and working with a lot of investors and wanted the property management, it was hard in the brokerage that I was at that time.
Okay.
So even before we decided to open up our brokerage, I reached out to some independent brokerages and smaller boutique brokerages.
Yeah.
Initially, I was with a franchise brokerage. The reason why I wanted to go with the independent brokerage because I felt like they can kind of cater to my needs of wanting to work with investors and doing property management.
Okay.
I am a big pusher for supporting minority-owned businesses.
Okay.
You know, whether it's women, whether it's Black-owned, that are doing the work right in the community. I try to make that a part of everything that I do when I pick service providers for my own business. So when I went to the marketplace to find a smaller brokerage, I interviewed several of the brokerages, minority-owned brokerages that I knew of. It's only a handful in the community.
Okay.
The problem that I found was a lot of those brokerages were old, antiquated, from the mindset to the office decor.
Yeah.
And I just could not see myself working in this place.
No.
And nor do I have the energy to, because people will say, well, you can go in there, you can make it better by doing that. I didn't have that level of time or energy to be able to put into that because it's a lot of work if we're talking about dealing with the mindset, right? And even the technology piece. A lot of these brokerages weren't even using technology that we were using from electronic signing systems and different things like that, or showing systems that we use on a daily basis. So that is what led me to say, I guess I have to do this on my own because it wasn't. But if it was something that was already a brand that was at that time established in a marketplace, I would have absolutely gone that route, but it just wasn't there. Now today, there's more opportunity, you know, more folks are starting to open up or whatever. But that's what led me there to open up our own brokerage to provide something different at the time that was not offered here in the city.
Love that. How long have you been licensed?
I've been licensed for 16 years.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay. So I've been seeing, that's right, that's broad. I've been seeing too with BrickHouse Realty, there's BrickHouse Lending.
Yes.
Okay, because you shed light on BrickHouse Lending and what that looks like and.
Well, I'm definitely super excited about that. This
That's
is
amazing.
something that we started in 2024.
Okay.
What kind of led to it is, so kind of mentioned work with a lot of investors.
Yeah.
I have a passion for that. I invest in real estate, right? So I definitely understand, you know, what the needs are in the marketplace.
Yep.
And so over the years, I've done so much coaching, training, held small groups, and there's typically there's three main things that hold people back from getting started investing. One is going to be just the education piece of it. Well, I can handle that, no problem, right? It's teaching people. The second thing is going to be their personal credit, and then the third thing is finding funding for their deals.
Yep.
Right. So when I used to hold these investor meetings, groups, seminars, trainings for people, the funding piece would always come up. I can even work with them to get their credit, but if they didn't have access to the capital, there was still, resistance, or they weren't able to move forward. So now kind of fast forward this partnership kind of fell in my lap.
Okay.
Like timing is everything, right?
Yes.
This partnership kind of fell in my lap toward the last quarter of last year.
Okay.
I actually was planning for 2024 to do a bigger push on commercial real estate.
Okay.
For myself personally.
Okay.
That was my goal and purpose. I told, agents in my office, I'm going to do a real big push on commercial. But then this opportunity presented itself where they're like, hey, do you want to partner with us and be able to offer the funding? And this light bulb, like this new spark hit me like, this is it.
Yes.
This is it. And so all of this year, next Monday starts my first 8-week masterclass of this year, but throughout 2024, I'm doing these masterclasses to help people. It's an 8-week session to help people invest in real estate, teaching them everything that they need from beginning to end. And so the funding piece of it, I feel, is the missing link to that.
Yes.
The beautiful thing about the funding, so I always look at real estate as being kind of like the gateway to even doing other things.
Absolutely.
Once you have the real estate in place and you're making money from doing this, you can then go and start another business. If you want to open a restaurant, you could use the funding to be able to do that. The beautiful thing about this funding is not only can I help them get funding for their real estate deals, but I can also help them get funding to start any business that they want.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Now that's
Game
major.
changer.
That is major.
I don't know if y'all heard that. We might need to rewind it.
Rewind that.
That's amazing.
Yes, that is. And I really want to touch on how you spoke about, it just kind of fell in your lap. We talk about, as you know, we transitioned from the accountability call, and one of the things we talked about was just being ready. You don't really know what opportunities are going to come by you, but just being ready so that way you don't have to get ready. And that's one of those things where you were like, commercial. I'm pushing commercial. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. It's like you spoke something over your business, over your legacy, to where it's like, boom, here you go. And now we're going to be able to provide the tools to be able to push further than what you even thought. So that's cool. And you're helping so many people in the process.
Are the qualifications for the lending similar to the qualifications we see with just traditional lending in regards to like credit score, certain amount of capital, or what does that look like?
So the cool thing about when you're doing private funding, hard money, business funding is that your personal credit only plays a small piece of that. So for a lot of people on their personal credit, like if you really messed up your credit, you may need about 2 years to get back on track with that. And so it may not make sense unless you want to wait the 2 years to kind of, let me say this, we always want to repair the personal credit.
Absolutely, 100%.
A lot of times people try to kind of backdoor it all the time and never want to visit the person. We're always working on personal credit.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we can build your business credit, just need a matter of about 6 months or less to build that business credit up. From there, with the business credit and having a business entity formed, we can get you funding. Your personal credit will still need to be at least a 620, 640 credit score.
Okay.
But there's definitely ways around all of that, because if we go the route of using business credit cards, we can pull funding that way to be able to acquire a property. Okay. So there's definitely, it's not as strict as far as the guidelines on the personal, like your FHA, your conventional loans.
Right.
You do potentially, if you're using it for real estate, you may have to potentially put down a down payment. It could be like 20% down. Okay. But we can use the business credit card funding to get that down payment for them as well.
Love it. Super dope. I love that. So with everything BrickHouse has going on, how do you balance managing everything between the brokerage, the lending company, the construction business? Like, how do you manage everything?
Spill tea.
No, please.
So the word is harmony, not balance.
Okay.
Harmony. Okay.
There's no balance, right? So let me be clear. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 4, and I have a lot going on. You know, we have about 30 agents in our office, so there's always something going on. So I will never say that there's a way for you to have balance. I just kind of call it harmony. Okay. So the biggest thing that you have to do is set what your priorities are. My biggest priority is family. Okay. And I am unapologetic about that. And what that means is the whole reason why I wanted to leave corporate was so that I can be at my kids' sporting events and not be at work or feeling guilty if I need to take off because a child is sick or whatever. Yeah. So I can't get into this world and then just forget about the whole reason why I started that. Yeah. So you really have to figure out what your priorities are. In the real estate world, also, I would tell you, they have a high rate of divorce. And I don't want to be making all this money and you just have a messed up family, divorce. You know, that's not the life either. Okay. So my priority is family. I'm making sure that, you know, my husband's getting the time that he needs. I'm making sure that I'm there for my kids. So I'm sorry I can't make that appointment because my kids have a basketball game. Now, that's not saying that I never miss a game, but that's not my norm. Yes, because things do come up, but I make that my priority. Yeah. From there, you just kind of go down the list. And so when you start your day, so I go to the gym, I come back, I have a list. This is what I need to complete, you know, on that list for today. And having systems in place. Yes. And I leverage technology. Yes. And so, you know, through all of that, you know, you have this list. Whatever you don't finish that day, it just moves to the next day. You know, and you just keep going.
Having that ability to look at that, though. A lot of people get so much pressure wrapped into what they have on that list or what was supposed to get done that day, and it's like, oh, I didn't do it, now I'm failing at it. And it's like, from what I heard you say, that harmony is like, that just clicked in my mind. Like, okay, if I stop looking at it like I'm forgetting something or I'm not doing something, and I just harmonize it with my next day or my next week or wherever I can put that task, I'm not feeling as overwhelmed or pressured.
Yeah. The only time you feel overwhelmed or pressure is when you knew you just blew off the day.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z, and you just blew off the day.
Facts.
Literally. Yeah.
You know, so, but if you went out, you start your day, you really tried to work to make everything, then what can I, how can you know, I'm only one person or whatever. Exactly. And then when that list starts to get too long, then maybe we need to start looking at, you know, handing off some tasks to some other people.
Yep, I agree. She is definitely prioritized. When we invited her here, guys, she was like, I want to do it, but I got basketball and things to do. I was like, okay. I respect that. Put me in on any day that you can put me in. We'll work around your schedule. So she's all, no cap, all facts. We was about to get canceled, y'all. Luckily the kids ain't have a basketball game, or she made it work.
Yes.
So,
I love that. That's the standard. Just setting the standard. Writing your stuff out, crossing it off as you go. And whatever I don't finish today, there's no pressure. Follow up tomorrow. Yeah. I did the best I could.
Yes. Yeah, you just create that priority, and you know, a lot of times people say, you know, you follow, and how do you make the priority? Okay, now you have family, you know, you made that your priority. Now your workload, how do you always wanted to focus on the things, the money-making items first. Those are the things I always say, you know, I always tell my husband, it was a book I read a long time ago, it was called Eat the Frog First. And so you're doing the hard task first, usually the things that we least likely to do, and probably the thing that's going to produce the most money for you as well. You put those on your list first thing, so you make sure you get that done in a day.
That's a gem.
Yes, we got a lot of gem. Harmony, setting, pivoting, realizing what your goals are and switching them up. Like, I really am inspired by all that you guys do. I love BrickHouse. I started in real estate. Our company was called Brick by Brick, so that's how I found you. I was like, who got brick? And I'm like, Andrea, let me see it. I was like, she popped up a whole brokerage. I'm like, oh, sis is killing it. So really, really honored to have you here. Now that we know more about the capital, about the brokerage, how is it that we can reach you and keep in contact with you? We want to, you know, get tapped in on that.
I would say the best place is on Instagram. I absolutely love Instagram.
Yes.
I am on there under she's_a_BrickHouse, and you will find me on there. I usually I make social media, that part of social media, kind of like part of my lifestyle. People like, how do you post on social media? I just make it part of my lifestyle, my day, and I post as I go. So you'll find everything you need to know about me on there.
Yes, she has a lot of gems on there, guys. So your 8-week masterclass, so you're hosting that throughout 2024, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it has different topics. This one is starting on Monday. Is for the 9-to-5 real estate investor.
Okay.
That person some people love working their 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to leave it. But just finding themselves falling short on income, this is a way to create some passive income. My next one will start in April, and that's going to be for women, targeted for women.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys. You heard it first. She's a BrickHouse. She_BrickHouse. And BrickHouse Realty, they have funding, a brokerage, all you can need. Andrea is a powerhouse and a dynamic person to work with.
Yes.
So happy to have you here. Thank you for joining Wake and Hustle.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you. We will see you guys next week.